We have a president that can't get anybody to do anything, so he signs, you know, executive orders.
We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. This is collusion and corruption of the highest order, and the world is laughing at us. They're laughing at the stupidity of our president.
Stay on him. Roger that, got him. Staying on him. Because you think they start hauling ass.
What is up, this is iGuru back with a new video, and today I'm going to weigh in on the recent pay-to-win versus free-to-play topic. It's been about a week since the Foshgate issue is blown over, and the outcome of it was a unified apology from Wargaming, and the real issue still remains. Are Wargaming going to address this seemingly pay-to-win direction that this game seems to be heading? And if any of you have seen the statement that Wargaming put out on their EU website, it's just an open apology letter that was signed by 4 people. Never in that letter does it address the core of the issue that started the Foshgate to begin with. But then a few days later, during the WGL's grand finals, Milos and Dane recorded a video and posted it on Facebook, and it goes something like this.
We know there's been some real concerns that have come up in the community recently around our premium tank strategy.
Now right off the bat, if you notice, Dane said, we know that there are some concerns regarding blah blah blah. Now these two guys are high up the hierarchy. They are the, you know, the big kahunas in WG. Whatever they say, it's a signal, it's a hint, it's a sign. If you look at the video in its entirety, I will leave the link below. They tried to play it like it was made like a spontaneous video. But you know, these guys, they don't mess around. This video was scripted and worded in a specific way. Now the evidence is from the way they gaze at the prepared cue cards next to the camera. The video has, they made the video purposely with no edits. Now this is important for them to create this perception of being like natural and off the cuff, spontaneous and quote unquote honest video, if you know what I'm saying. Now back to the video. TLDR, in the video, both Dane and Milos acknowledges that they know there are concerns.
Yeah, so the premium tanks, we know that there are concerns, especially regarding the last 2 ones.
Yep.
The Defender and the Chrysler. Yes, in the old days, the premiums were always underperforming compared to the tanks on the other tiers.
They kind of sucked.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Well, as you can see, they have both acknowledged that they know that there are concerns. They just both didn't acknowledge that it was their concern. Thane continues to say that skill is always more important, and Milos adds that their study suggests that the defenders aren't overpowered at all.
To be fair, the stats from the test servers and from the real game, they're actually showing that this is exactly how it's going. Yeah, they are performing well, but they are definitely not overperforming the other tanks on this tier.
Yeah.
It was at this point, at this moment, I realized that I had to make a video. I had to make my voice heard. I had to give my opinion, support those guys out there that are fighting this. I don't know in which alternative world Wargaming headquarters is situated at. Maybe it's near Trump Towers or something. But last I checked, VB Addict, the stats put the Defender as the #1 tank in Tier 8 win rate since the 9.18 patch on all servers. As a matter of fact, 16 of the top 20 tanks are premium tanks. But to be fair, 6 of those 16 tanks you can earn by doing missions. So how did we end up here? Here's my take on the situation. Now I don't know this for a fact, but I just know it's true. Now once upon a time, maybe 2-3 years ago, the finance department of Wargaming presented a kind of like forecast growth to the board of directors at Wargaming. Now, although it was a very good forecast, very healthy, and the projection was great, they still decided that they needed to speed it up, possibly to fund some kind of moon base that they had in their mind or something. But they knew the outrage and the backlash they would receive from the community if they went ahead with from the free-to-play model to the pay-to-win model just overnight. So what did they do? They came up with a divisive, cunning plan to make this move in small increments, at the same time making improvements to the game, like the HD tanks, the new tech trees. They figured out that the improvements to the UX, the user experience. They figured out that the improvements to the user experience will mitigate the effects of the pay-to-win operation going on in the background. So it began with the Super Persian buff, the buff to the armor, then the IS-6. They didn't see any big hoo-ha from the community, so they pressed on with the WZ111 and the 112 and the Lowy or whatever you want to call it. Most of this was met with little resistance from the community. Now, this lack of action from the community actually emboldened the Wargaming team to try something even more drastic. And this is how the 9.17 patch was born. A complete move towards more armor and dependence on the premium ammunition, just for you to stay competitive. The Defender was next, and finally I think it was the Chrysler that broke Foch's back. Now personally, I like staying away from bashing WG for being so greedy, and I personally hoped that the blowback in recent months would have been enough for them to rethink and possibly roll back their bad ideas, like the now infamous Rubicon, and possibly the upcoming bonds currency that they plan to implement. Now, Wargaming need to realize that they cannot act like it's still 1979 Soviet Union if they want to be, credible and respected global brand. Now, from a Tier 8 strongholds perspective, I can clearly see the difference between a pay-to-win team and a free-to-play team. This is a 10v10 format, and all I need to do is just drive in my Defender with the rest of my clan mates in their Defenders and Chryslers and overpowered tanks, and we will steamroll any peasant that dares to challenge our team, our pay-to-win superiority. Well, in closing, Wargaming, please get your shit together. Can't you see that almost all your World of Tank Twitch streamers are playing PUBG? All of them are streaming PUBG. I even saw Rita playing PUBG with Arsenal. Isn't that the clearest sign that your players see right through you and are actively looking for other options? The Defender that I drive now is going to be the last premium tank that I actually buy, and I actually bought it not because I really needed it. I bought it because I felt like I had to have it just to stay competitive and make some extra credits. And lastly, regarding balance, here are some screenshots that I took just yesterday and today. I've been getting quite a lot of this, I noticed, so I decided to just capture it and see how bad it is. I wonder how you're doing. Let me know.